We're in Parak Sheni Mida Hashishis, and we're working through the Keser of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Talked about HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Keser and Oznayim and Einayim and Netzach, and all of these, being the word B'Tselem Elokim, we possess all of these different traits which are metaphorized by HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Kiviyachol, his Tzuras HaPanim. So the sixth one is interesting. B'choitmai is Hashem's nose. You wouldn't think we're going to find a lot of spirituality in Hashem's nose, but be surprised. So Hashish is B'choitmai, Hashem's nose. Let's just read a little bit. Me'olam lo yimotzei boi charoin af klal. We don't find in Hashem, or we shouldn't, let's talk about us. Lo yimotzei boi charoin af klal. Charoin af. So whatever we talk about anger, we always talk about the nose. Charon af. Hashem is erech hapayim. Long-nosed. Those Jewish noses.
Never thought about that.
Erech hapayim. Right? Just opened up a whole world. By the end of today's session, we'll get to Pinocchio.
Why apayim and not just af?
There's two. Two nostrils. Here as nostrils, but the whole reshet, the whole marechet is called apayim. The filas apayim. You're not falling on your metzach, on your einayim, on your azayim. The filas apayim, which kind of takes over the face, the nose. You ever see somebody without a nose?
They
They
cut off your nose despite your face.
Right. Cut off your nose despite your face.
It's always the first thing ahead of you, unless you have a stomach.
It's always in your face. It's in your face. It's right in your face.
Right. So the nose is the seat of anger. What should be in your nose? Chaim, Ratzain, Toiv, Arichusaf. Arichusaf is opposite. Long nose. Erech hapayim. Arichusaf. Afilu lo'isam sheinim hagunim. We don't get angry even to somebody who's an unworthy person. Okay, in other words, you shouldn't get angry, stam, you shouldn't lose your temper, move on. But some people are, you always hear people like when they do something wrong, like you kill somebody, or they hurt somebody, so they always say, like in court, yeah, but you don't know what he did. Okay, so like, there's a certain, af thing. I'm angry as hell. You ever hear that expression? That's also a ruchnistic thing. Afilu lo'isam sheinam hagunim. The Talmud writes, on the contrary, what should you do with your nose? Talmud writes, l'malois ratzain lahafi kol she'ela. We should always try to fulfill. This is a nose job. We should always try to fulfill the ratzon of our fellow man, lahafi kol she'ela, to fulfills every request, and to give life to everyone who's disadvantaged, and always give forth from your nose mechila, avay, v'atzoras pesha, ve'enoi chaytes b'chayte. One should never get angry to somebody who is chote to him. Ela misratza tamid v'chafetz chesed lasis nachtas ruach lo kol. So there's a lot going on here in the nose. It's a big. So I just this one discusses for a bit, like the nose seems sort of innocuous to the whole system here. It doesn't seem like the forehead, the procedure that surrounds the brain, the rut zone, what you hear, what you see, that we understand are very spiritual things. Nose is a bit schwach, but it's really not, because vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim, that the entire neshama of a person comes about through his nose. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. It's all about the nose. That when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he didn't speak it neshama into our ear, he didn't whisper it into our ear, he didn't look it into he didn't gaze it into our eyes. He
didn't give us mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Didn't give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. It's all exactly right. It's all about it's all about the life, the actual formation of life came about by Hashem's choice through the chotam, through the nose, vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. So the nose then becomes the seat, not just of anger or lack of it thereof, but the nose becomes the seat of the neshama. Lashon HaZayar is ki ha'af hu mishkan ha'neshama. Parshas Tetzaveh. The Zayar says that the af is actually the mishkan ha'neshama. People say my neshama, my neshama.
Yeah.
Here, point to your nose. Ha'af hu nishmas hu mishkan ha'neshama. Zayar Parshas Tetzaveh at the beginning. Now I read one, so just before we learn more about it, like what is anger? Such a curious thing. Two things are very curious to me: anger and laughter. Such strange reactions. Laughter is very strange. It's not our subject today. Like laughter, it's like having like an epileptic attack. When people hear something that's funny, like. It was complete control. It's not a smile, like a total lack of control. And so too is anger. It's a complete lack of control. So it's got lost. I was just looking at the news, like Los Angeles on Saturday morning yesterday. So there's two people cutting each other off, and one guy just one of them got out of the car. And the other one got out of the car, those tough guys, and he shot 3 people. Road rage.
So 3 other people?
Yeah. No, he shot the 3 people, got out of the car.
Well, they cut him off.
Yeah, cut him off. What do you expect? Killed 3 people. Oh, she killed 3 people. Road rage. Complete strangers, completely. Yeah. It's kind of like a very strong reaction.
He got to the appointment much later than he was going to if he just let him cut him off.
It's a marriage. So they would also cut off from mouth and cut off their hand.
Yeah. So it's just I think that maybe I read once or I learned or I don't know, but like anger, get angry is when there's a complete violation of what we believe is supposed to be taking place right now. Where there's a real violation of either my boundary or a rule, a clear rule. So people tend to get very angry. Yeah.
Laughter is the exact same thing, though, if you think about it.
It's a complete irony.
Right.
I see, like if you're standing in a supermarket and it says 10 items only in this lane, and somebody comes in with 12 items. You're here, not here in this country. I don't recognize it. This country in America. Like, wow, the letters, the words, the 4-letter words. There's a clear rule here. The rule is, 10 things, 12 things. Like it's not a. So we lose our temper. It's like an amazing. It's just an amazing thing when you lose your temper. So now, okay. But I know the Gemara, Kol HaKoyes Kilu Shevech Dam. Kol HaKoyes Kilu Oived Avodah Zarah. The guy do it already. I understand how to tell him, excuse me, sir. It says 10, 20. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about like kas. So like what's the why? Well, what's the nature of this kas? The pshat is, I don't know scientifically, but spiritually the pshat is that the neshama, anger is a function of the nose, which I'll try to explain, but it's a function of the neshama. So when you're violating, my neshama has a sense of Rav Toverah. My neshama shenasata b'tahirahi. So the neshama that I have has a sense of what's right and what's wrong. There's a sense of right or wrong. The bigger the neshama, the bigger sense of what's right or what's wrong. This is just wrong. And when that, you're not violating my finger or my foot. You're violating my neshama, because you're violating my sense, not even my seichel. You're violating my sense of right and wrong. So now I lose control. It takes over. My neshama is angry. When my neshama is angry, stay away. However, it's not correct. In other words, that we understand why a person gets angry, but we see from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is erech hapayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the neshama of neshamas. Right. The whole thing is vayipach ba'apav nishas chayim, as the Targum, the Zohar says. The Targum brings man to nafach midileka nafach. That this is the nishmas Hashem. It's a piece of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you're violating here. So why am I angry? Of course I'm angry, but that's not HaKadosh Baruch Hu's reaction. Like it's arichasaf, as he says here. So the pshat is, what do the words that I'm just speaking it out for a second. Arichasaf is the opposite of anger. That I could use the same neshama, I could use the same koach of strong emotion. In the more idle countries, like where you don't get mad, or even angry, like in Australia, it's getting emotional. Why are you getting emotional? But it's the pshat is that it's the neshama can respond in a number of ways, and this is where the goof has to control the neshama. So now there's such a thing as a word that we never think about is arichasaf. Arichasaf is you become long-nosed. Long-nosed means let your neshama go to work in a positive way. Instead of getting the same energy of getting angry, can become helpful to the other person. Could create a sever panim yafos. It's hard to understand because if you get angry, I mean, some people have a real nisayon with this.
So is it true
Blood
to say
pressure.
in a sense today, because people are less spiritual, therefore there's more anger prevalent? There's only in England where there's some Australia, but today with a lot of road rage, people are much more angry today than they used to be when I was growing up. Is that because they're...
I think angry about the wrong things. I don't know if there's more anger or less anger, When I was a Rav in Buffalo, so when I first came, so before there was like a lot of Bali Tshuva, it was like mostly Holocaust survivors. These were like a lot of angry people, Well, they were,
Can you blame them?
Yeah, so you can't blame them, but it's still difficult to deal with. And everybody understood. I think I mentioned to you that there was a shiloh, two people had yard site, so had to paskin like who should have yard sites. So it was pretty clear he had yard site for a father, he had yard site for a brother. These are all Holocaust yard sites. They were terrible. So I said, okay, you should have them for Yom and not you. And everyone was makabel by psak, by 22-year-old psak. But in the middle of Chasaras Hashatz, I didn't realize that this guy who wasn't davening was steaming up with anger, and he stood up in the middle of davening. He stood up and he points to me. He says, "Neither you or Hitler is going to ruin my life." Whoa. These guys are rough. But I know that. Not to Greenblatt, he's a gadol, I think, in America, from Memphis. I remember he came to daven in the shul once. He's Masader Gittin. He goes from place to place. And just while he was there, so there was this big fight about something or another. I don't remember what. There was this big fight. Usually it was about you pronounced a word wrong or something like that, or you said say talabata or what your words about. So something that was some major issue. Big fights. I was a little bit embarrassed. Here's this Rav who's not to agree with Chosam person. So I explained to him. So he says, "No, it's good." He says, "At least they're getting angry about the right things."
Maybe not
so
for the
sure
right-
how right it was.
Maybe not for the right reasons. though.
What?
Maybe not for the right reasons.
God, no, but I mean, like, in other words, it's better than road rage, or better than, I think these guys have road rage too. But it's good. But the point is that it's actually a very neshamatic response that we're responsible for. They have to really take a lot of care because this is the hachotem v'hareach. This is the hareach hu mishkan haneshama. So the reason why we smell the summon on Motzei Shabbos is to take a last whiff of Shabbos, so that the Kedusha goes with us the entire week. Because the Reach, so let me just, I wanted to show you in none of the Yoma, because I have to be learning in the Bnei Yisachar, Siddur Sefer, and he has by the month, he goes by the month. So we just started Chodesh Adar. Right? So here he talks about Adar. And he says, Yadua Mikisvei Harizal, it's known from the Harizal, B'inyan Roshei Chadoshim, right? Friday was Rosh Chodesh. Shekol HaChadoshim, Kol HaChodeshim, Heim B'bchinas Evarei Harosh. That every month is a different part of the head. Shekol HaChadoshim, Heim HaChodeshim, Heim B'bchinas Evarei Harosh, Adar, and Adar in particular, Husoid HaChotem, B'shir Koimas Haraish. That according to the Arizal, Adar, Chodesh Adar, has to do with the nose. V'hinei b'chotem hu chush hareach. In the nose lies the chush of reach. Al kein tira beis hagoyelim asher nasa hanes ba'adar al yadam. Because it says in Yeshayahu that the Mashiach is going to be able to smell who's a tzaddik and who's not a tzaddik. When they came to Yerushalmi, says when they came to test Bar Kochba to see whether he was a Mashiach or not, the test was, is he able to smell a rat? Is he able to smell somebody who was a bad person? And he wasn't. So that's why they said he's not the Mashiach. This chusha reach is like really something so interesting. The reach is like really being in touch with your neshama. Why? Because vayipach ba'apav nishmas chayim. But he says shnei hagoylim shel adar nikra sham b'shem habasamim. So what is Mordechai? What's the it's a Persian word? What is the Gemara darshan about this? Moradachia, which is basamim, right? Moradachia, which is basamim, like the Ketairis has the Ketairis, the basamim, and Esther zu Hadassah. Hadassah are also a form of reach. So dafka, like the Mordechai and Esther, he says, are to betargamin and Moridachia, Kishamar Chazal, and Esther Nikras Hadassah. Havein. Understand this. Okay, Nemar b'Mordechai vayizak za'aka. It says vayizak za'aka gedola umara ma'oid. That's what it says about Mordechai. V'loy nemar ma'amar, but we don't know what he was screaming about. We don't know what he said. It also says vayizak za'aka gedola umara ma'oid. We don't know what it was. Why? Nesha kol yafel b'samim. Hakol yafel b'samim. Means to say, I think, obviously it doesn't say, so I'm just conjecturing that what it means to say is that sometimes we scream about this, we scream about that, we get angry about this, we get angry about this. This is an expression of his neshama. It doesn't make any difference what he was saying. The Yizak Zaka Gedolos, he was screaming. Chazal say that this Yizak Zaka Gedolo Mar Moed that it says by Mordechai is the exact same words as it says by Esav. When he lost the Bechorah. When he lost the Bechorah, he realized that the Bechorah was stolen from him. It says, Vayizak Zaka Gedol Mar Moed. And that's the same Vayizak Zaka Gedol Mar Moed by Mordechai. Tzaddik the Rasha. What's the pshat? It was also, it was an expression of the neshama. Even Esav, I lost my bracha. I lost my Bechorah. So Vayizak Zaka Gedol Mar Moed, I was not criticized for that. This was the for once the neshama coming out in Esav, and according to the Zohar, this was his redeeming factor that he got angry. So the anger was exactly replicated. Some say it was like Bita Keneged Bita because Yaakov stole the Bechor from Esau. That's why Mordechai had to scream this way. But however you learn Pshat, it's the svara is that we're dealing at a level of neshama. We're dealing on a level of neshama. So he says further, it's fascinating stuff. So Adar, Mordechai and Esther, it's all a Reach thing. And Besamim, on Monsey Shabbos, it's all about Reach. Hidei Tira, ki kol achushim niskar meitzel chet Adam Arishan. So when Adam Arishan did the chet, so what does it say there? We see the chush hariyah, Vatera isha kitoiv lamara, right? She saw that the fruit looked very beautiful. Vatikach mipiria, she took the peri, chush ha mishush. Vatoichal, they ate it, chush hatam. Vayishmu, listened to the Nachash said, chush hashmiya. Aval chush hareach lo niskar sham. They did this chet with every one of the chushim, all the senses except for the sense of smell. Chush hareach lo niskar sham. Nira mizeh, from this you see, asher chush hareach lo nifgam kol kach ki inoch hachushim. That the chush hareach, because of this, because they didn't use their nose, which would have been an obvious one, they smelled the fruit and it smelled beautifully, right? Smelled beautiful. They could have, it was an obvious, but because it wasn't violated, because the chush hareach wasn't violated, ki lo nishtamshu bayos, because they didn't use it, al kein timsa ad hayoim chush hareach haruchani ben hanasham and nenasimenu v'lo. So the Gemara says, the Gemara Brachos Mem Gimel, Gemara says, how do you know that you make a bracha on smell? How do you know you make a bracha on smell? So the Gemara says the pasuk. What's the pasuk? Kol hanashama tahalelka. That's amazing. We learned this Gemara too fast. You make a bracha on the chush hareach. Why? Kol hanashama tahalelka. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. I mean, the Gemara doesn't say this. It was the obvious pshat. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. That the seat of the neshama is in the nose, and specifically in the chush hareach. So therefore, you should make a bracha. So he says, "B'zeh yunach." With this far, we can answer Madam Iboilam b'Gemara, what's always shver in the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Minayin shemavarchin al hareach." How do you know you make a bracha on hareach? T'chsiv kol haneshama ta'al elko. Ezu davar shaneshama nanas mimenu v'loy haguf. Says the Gemara, Zahareach, when you're smelling something and it smells good, the neshama has hana. That's why it's very important not to have a reach of avodah zarah. The Gemara Psachim has a whole sugya. If you're allowed to walk down a street where there's a reach of avodah zarah, carbon of avodah zarah, it smell good. Not treif. Treif is not a chazar, but a reach. So the Gemara says that by every other, is a svar in the Gemara there, that by every other thing you could say efshar v'kamachavein, efshar v'loy kamachavein. It depends on your kavana, not kavana. By reach is more chamor, but by the reach of avodah zarah it's more chamor because there you're mamish violating the neshama with the reach. So it's by the way, it's just so interesting. We saw the Sitra Achra of the thing. It's just so interesting how like reach is abused, like the whole sensuousness of perfumes and colognes, and it's always like why you make yourself smell funny, but somehow or another, because the reach goes straight to the neshama. Like think about it logically. There's no logic to it. You understand it? I can understand you saying certain words that are arousing, or I could say something reach, smell good. It's a strange phenomenon. I mean, it's not any stranger than anything else, but it really is.
It's also connected to the memory more than any other sense.
I'd say, yeah. People's
They're
memory.
right next to each other in the brain.
Yeah.
The seat of the memory and
Yeah.
the factory nerves.
So over here, yeah, by the Chotam. Yeah, that's because by the Chotam. So he says that the Gemara says that you make a bracha because you make a bracha on a reach. So frek the bnei Yisachar lamdu sheshayla v'hinehu lefela beinai. This is a pella. Harei stama amar Chazal. We already learned in the Gemara in Lamed Hey. That's a Gemara in Mem Gimel brachas. We already learned in Lamed Hey. Also le'anas v'nei lamazeb loy bracha. You're not allowed to have any hana without a bracha. So what's the how? Does it say? How do you know you make a bracha on carrots? And how do you know you make a bracha on cheese? And how do you know you make a reach is hana? If you're having hana, you make a bracha. What's the grace of chiddush? So he says, "V'afku sham b'zois hasfar." So he says that the pshat is. Well, let me just read the whole thing instead of skipping around. Over there in the Gemara in Brachas Lamed Hey, where it says that you're not allowed to have anah from this world without a bracha. Asur lehanois me'elam azeb bracha. Asmichu akra. They learn it from a pasuk because it says Lashem ha'aretzum loyai va'aretz nasan livnei adam. In Tilim Chav Daled it says Lashem ha'aretzum loyai. Hashem owns the world. And in Tilim Kuf Tes Vav it says Ha'aretz nasan livnei adam. So, freak the Gemara, which is it? Does the world belong to God, or does the world belong to us? Answer the Gemara that kan koidem bracha, kan acher bracha. That before the bracha, everything belongs to Hashem. After the bracha, it's ours to take. So the bracha is a kilo matir to take something which belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and give it to ourselves. So if all that is true, it's not to itself like a fascinating thing, but somehow or another a bracha makes it from Hashem to yours. I can explain why, and it'll help the kasha, because at the end, as I mention often, the only reason we're here in this world is an existential point. The only reason we're here in this world is to help HaKadosh Baruch Hu in finishing off the world. Like we're not Tzelem Elokim is not that we're end users in the world. Okay, you're here, enjoy, do it, go swimming. It's that we're here, just like Malachim created parts of the world before us. So we're here to finish off the world. And how do we finish it off? By doing chesed, by building things, by doing things for people. This is the doing mitzvahs, making a Beis Hamikdash, making a Mishkan. That's what we're here for. We're not end users. We're end builders. We're not, right? We're not at this side of the string. We're on this side of the string. We're shluchei HaKadosh Baruch Hu to build in this world. The only reason we're here. So if you take something for yourself, so you're taking company stuff for yourself, like is that for you? But once you make a bracha, so now I'm taking it as I'm working here and I'm doing my thing, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is matir that as long as you understand that everything is min hashamayim and everything is for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can eat.
And it's company business. You're doing company business. You're not just
Company business, exactly right. Company business. If you work in a factory, you're allowed to eat as many of the things on the assembly line as many of the chocolates as you want. Right. Everyone's thinking of I Love Lucy, right? That's you could just keep on eating the chocolates, but that's mutter because it's mutter even al pi halacha. The poilim are allowed to eat because it's all company. It's all part of the company. So kan koinam bracha, kan acher bracha means the bracha. I'm saying baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam baruch b'ha'aretz baruch b'ha'aretz. I'm saying that this is part of my of what I'm doing here in this world. So okay, let's go back to the kasha. What is reach any different? Why should reach be any different? Adrabah. If you don't have to make a bracha, we have to wonder why don't you have to make a bracha? Whenever there's a hana that we're having in this world that you don't make a bracha from, you have to ask yourself why aren't I making a bracha on this? Going to Hada Hikshachar Lamein Varach Shmias calls them your beautiful music. Why don't you make a bracha? Gam ken Hikshu Lamein Varach Hanas HaMishkal. A person has intimacy. Why don't you make bracha? Avolodaiti diadua inina brachu levarer hatoiv min hara. So he's saying a little bit different than I said. That the inyan of a bracha, the Hasidic bracha, is levarer hatoiv v'ra. Everything in this world has in it good and bad. That's what the Hasidim say this over a lot, but it's really a zayar. So v'haraya. You eat something, then there's a portion of it that has to be eliminated. There's very few things that are so pure that it requires that it does not require any elimination. So the body has to break it up and uses what it uses and eliminates what it doesn't use. There's a few mechalim that they say requires very little elimination. Maybe honey, maybe certain things, but ba'atzem, like everything needs. It's cholav udvash. Require very. It's mostly toiv. That's the eretz zavas cholav udvash. Mostly toiv dvash. Tomorrow man dvash. But the reyach needs no elimination at all. You can smell all day, and there's not a piece of that has to be eliminated. Why? Because it's neshama. It's kulei ruchni. It's kulei tayv. Reach is davar shaneshama hanenes mimenu. It's kulei tayv. And the reason it's kulei tayv is because by the Eitz Hadas, let's do it the other way. The reason why everything is a mixture of tayv and ra is because Adam and Chava used the chush hatam. Adam and Chava used the chush hamishush. They used the chush hashmiya and the chush hariyah, but they didn't use the chush hareach. So since they didn't use the chush hareach, it says in the Chumash, each one of these things is vayar, vayikach. It doesn't say that they smelled it. So so mamela, no negativity was ever injected into the fragrance of this world. It's kulei tayv. So if it's kulei tayv and there's no elimination, so therefore what? There's no birur. Asper l'cha inyan, just a little bit more, ha'achila. Let's talk about achila, leno mimeno taki shel ashar, and that way we'll get back to where we're going, says the Bnei Sastar. Ha'meichel ha'muksham, asher adam oichel, every food that a person eats, hine ha'toiv ha'mufchar v'ayachim nivra v'nasa dam ba'adam loisav loichayusay. When you eat, it creates dam in the person, blood, or we understand that even more sophisticated, that it's not just creating blood, but it's energizing the blood and giving insulin to the blood, etc. Va'ara nitche l'chutz, and that which is over too much, right? If you ate too much, or the bad doesn't get in. If it gets in, you're in trouble. You don't want it to get in. V'hinei chush hareich lo nifgam kol kach kanal. Didn't have the beganim came lefi adoyma v'anira ein min hatzarech boy levir. The body doesn't have to eliminate anything that you smell. It's something which the neshama uses because it's kayemis lot. Every drop of that smell stays with you, and that's why Rav Moshe, that you remember smell forever because nothing is eliminated. It's there forever. What's the whole part of a bracha? He's learning the pshat in the bracha is that you're doing, when you make a bracha, besides for what I explained, that you're showing that this is my purpose in the world, but on a higher technological level, the pshat in the bracha is that it's mafrid the toiv and the ra. I'm saying that I'm taking the toiv out of this and I'm throwing away the klipa. That's what's going on with the bracha. I'm being mafrid the toiv and ra. So what bracha are you going to make on reach if it's kulei toiv? There's nothing to be mafrid in the toiv and the ra. That's why the Gemara says, how do you know? That's the kasha. How do you know you make a bracha on reach? Why would you make a bracha? So they have to remember the kasha was, why shouldn't you make a bracha on reach? The answer is because the bracha is the mafrid, main toiv l'ra, and here there's nothing to be mafrid. And that's why you need a special limud to tell you to make a bracha. It's self kol self, that even in fragrance, it's still part of Olam Haza. It still needs a slight bearer, not much, but a little bit. Al Kain Mashiach Tzidkenu. She's Gala B'Meir V'Yomeinu Nemer B'Y Pulas Chush Hareach Meherichu B'Yiras Hashem. So Yeshayahu Yud Aleph tells us that Mashiach is going to be able to smell who's a good person, who's a bad person. Scary, no? Because the Reach is going to be the Reach of the Neshama. See, there's another, I don't know if it's a side lesson or it's the main lesson over here, but like we're always judging people and judging ourselves by what we do. But when Mashiach comes, he's going to be judging us by the deepest part of us, the Chush HaReach. He's going to be judging the Neshama. Not so much what we do, what we don't do, but what we are and what we are not. What we are and what we are not, by and large, is a product of what we do and what we don't do, but it's also a product of Machshava and Dibur, not just Maisa. So, and what our kavanah in doing it is, and what, everything. So it's going to be a big judgment. Hu pulas hachoitim shehu pulas haneshama kayemes la'ad. It's going to judge our neshamas. Oh, I didn't realize it says it. Tizbonim is a gam tam lebesamim b'matzai Shabbos. Shatan lebesamim b'matzai Shabbos is Mizois Hasuda Nana had some luz, that the luz has hana from the neshama. Sheish lo koach hakim shloi nana me'etz hadas be'erev Shabbos. The luz also had no hana from the eitz hadas. That's why the luz goes on forever. The only reason why you would die and pieces of our body dies because it had hana from that fed by the eitz hadas. Deep things, Rabbi said. But the etzem luz had no hana from the eitz hadas. So since they had no enough in Eitz Hadas, it's going to live forever, and Mimenu is going to come out. Chiyas HaMeisa. Mi'ata tovin haremes. Aroitzi shis kaim nechasav. Okay, it goes on to different. But the point is, Adar is.
Is that why the Chachmim had 2 months of Adar, decided for 2 months?
That's good. But Adar is a type of a tree which has tremendous fragrance. So the Gemara says that we're in Beitza. That our rights, she's kaimun nechasav eaten behind Ador. Where it says that if you want your business to work, you should plant an Ador tree. Not sure what it is in English, but an Ador tree, meaning make sure the neshama is good. So here's like a little chiddush here that a good business is totally in your neshama. Or Chazal made this kesher. Good. Like if you want your nechasim to be matzliach. Nechasim be matzliach doesn't mean that I make good business decisions. Nechasim to be matzliach means that I buy something and its value goes up. So the pashut pshat in the Gemara is make a fragrance tree. It's like when you want to sell a house, like you bake a cake, so it smells good. But what he's saying is it's a very deep thing, and it's lashon adar, like chodesh adar. Is the Chodesh, again, remember, Mordechai, Esther, Mordori, Esther, Zohadasa. It's all about Besamim, it's all on the nose. So it's all about the Reach Tov. Okay, so...
I was just thinking Shomar v'Zochar, Zochar and Reach.
To remember. So at the end, let's just go, now that we know all this, let's just look, as I was saying at the beginning, what's the spirituality of the nose? But it comes out Adarabah, but that's the seat of the neshama. It's the most spiritual part that we have. And Vayibach Ba'ab of Nishmas Chaim that's where our neshama came into us. So now what do we do with that spirituality? So there is a natural inclination to get angry because my neshama is violated. It's a natural inclination. It's not a good inclination. So it comes out from this that we should never get angry, never. Even people that are not hagunim. People have a bad temper, get angry at everybody and everything. Okay, so everybody's. I don't know what it is. I think people get it's addictive. I think there's an addiction of anger. People are addicted to it because it's a really easy way to intimidate everybody around.
Riots start with a couple of people. And then
Yeah. No, but I'm saying I mean, people are. It's not just a bad habit. I think that there's an addiction to anger because, first of all, it feels good, which has to be analyzed onto itself. Huh? Yeah, but why? I'm saying that there's why? But why? Because you're taking the neshama and your mamash abusing it. Of course, it feels good because it's your neshama. That's why it feels good. And of course, it intimidates everybody around you because it's the neshama. So,
Do that again. That face, do it again.
Yeah. Some people have a real nisayon with this thing, with anger. A lot of it seems like natural or even genetic, but the fact is, I guess we have Bechiris Chavshus. I'm not blessed with anger so much because I don't have such a good neshama. But see people that have this problem. It's like a very serious thing. Like even if they're controlling their temper, they're like constantly, it's like a constant thing. It's in the nose.
Does it mean they're more in touch with the neshama? What are we saying?
It means they're not. It's not in control.
We said. I think you used the word.
I'm saying the more neshama there is, the more possibility of anger there is. But and the more neshama is, the more one has to control. Like you have a very strong machine inside of you. It's very strong.
Is it like an avodah zarah?
So it is. Kol hakoyes ki lo eved avodah zarah. So what's the pshat? Speak it out. Why is it avodah zarah? Taking your neshama and using it the wrong way.
It's a different purpose. A different.
Yeah. So let's just finish the paragraph. But here's a good way to use our nose. Chaim, you can give out life because it's your neshama. Arichos af. Why do we always speak about charona af and we're not talking about arichos af? Be long nosed, patience. Even people are not worthy of it. I am lo matim li to go ahead and get angry. Tamid rotza lamalais rotzain. See, I think it's different. By the way, controlling anger is one thing. Anger control is one thing. But that's not to be an angry person. I think that's the real avodas haneshama. Like anger control, a count to 10. That's one thing. That's a good start. But the real thing is like B'nai Torah. I think like the neshama shouldn't be getting angry. The neshama should be. You can use that same energy to be happy and to smile at people and to make people feel good. Look what he does with the same anger midah. It's the same midah. L'maloi sratz and lahafi kol sheila lahachyish l'nikta. Help the afflicted. Fulfill people's ratzin. Feel strongly about things. That's your neshama. If you feel strongly about things, you can become a great person. U'moitzi michoit maitamid mechilas avain v'atzaras pesha ve'enoi koyes b'choitaloi. Never be angry. But somebody's choitaloi misratz etamid v'chafetz chesed lasos nachas ruach lakol. This ratzon to want to make everybody around you have nachas ruach. This is the ratzon of the neshama that was blown into our af, and it's the same koach that we have to be mashpia on everybody around us and intimidate everybody with anger. We have the exact same koach to create everybody, to put everybody in a good mood. By the way, I just want to say, I noticed this about people that lose their temper a lot. They also have the koach. The very same people who lose their temper always have the koach to make everybody around them feel good. It mamash goes together. So it's like in one word, everybody is so happy with them. So one way to learn pshat is, well, we're happy you're not angry. That's good. But another way to learn pshat is that it's the same koach neshama abused like avodah zarah. Avodah zarah is your neshama going, like you say, neshama doing the wrong thing, wrong end, wrong outlet for the neshama. So the same thing is kas is the wrong outlet for my reaction to some type of a violation. The right reaction is to use the same neshama to bring everybody around. and to smile, b'saver panam yafos, and to be happy, and to be makarev, and to be. So it's the big madrega, and the Bnei Yissaschar. I recommend Bnei Yissaschar Chodesh Adar. It's a beautiful sefer here in our library.
It's in line. It's in line.
There's one in line.
It's included in Bnei Yissaschar Torah, or it's a separate.
Bnei Yissaschar goes according to it's a separate volume 2. Volume 1 is according to Parshias. Actually, no. Bnei Yissaschar is on the Chadashim. He has another Arpali Toyar, which is on the.
You spoke
Is that
about
the nose flies up on the guy?
Yeah.
you spoke about the fact that the smell has no you don't have to separate anything within you. The same thing was true with the man, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So I
So
had
the taste is connected.
There's a shiloh whether they made a bracha on man or
I was
not.
in question.
So it would seem to me, I actually brought a raya from here once. It's on others Bnei Yissaschar that on the money you should make a bracha.
Should not.
Well, it had no elimination.
Right,
Did it have a
right.
smell?
What?
Does it mention smell? Did it have a
That
smell?
had
I don't know
a
if it had
taste,
a smell.
whatever
Tom,
taste.
Tom,
Yeah,
Tom.
The tongue doesn't.
But it was 100% pure. So if the pshat in the bracha is to do a beer between Toiv and Ra, so then there's no makom of Toiv and Ra on the mud. I didn't see it in the sefer.
But it's called a
You're not right here. Yeah, but the reason is called anena because when you're having hana, so then you're bringing it into yourself, and you need to be mavar from the ra. If you're bringing it into yourself, there's no ra involved with it.
Yeah.
So mishkal the kedusha, intimacy the kedusha, there's no ra.
It's not according. It's not that.
The after bracha. That's a different.
Yeah, but I'm saying that would apply to the month.
It's of course I tell you.
And
If
as far as the
if there was a kazayas in it.
as far as the chusha, so then it's the other end. So that we didn't answer why. Yeah, why would I make a bracha on Mishkal?
That's what I'm saying, because mishkal ben kedusha is kulei Torah. There's no ra in it.
Why would that be if the chusha mikush was in
It wasn't part of mishush.
Mishri? Yeah,
Right.
mishush.
So that's not tumas hamishkal.
No, but
You see, mishkal
It's
in
not-
intimacy is on the one hand the biggest avera,
Right.
betuma, and the biggest mitzvah, and tara if it's kedusha.
but
Because it's like anger.
why isn't it in the gather of the five chushim of mishush that was chati that we were chati
No,
with
no.
we were
No,
chati.
tumas hamishkal is totally in mishush. It's like a side thing to it. Mishkal is not.
I'm asking on mishush now. I'm asking on massage. Okay, so why don't we make a bracha on that?
Why don't we make a bracha on it?
Yes, I'm saying is it because the Gemara deals with reach, so that's the time because it's so.
But that's a technical thing because philosophically I'm not sure, but technically because there's no shear, the Gemara says. If someone has hanas hamishush, it's hard to know the shear. Like if you ate something. Here it is, gone today. Here today, gone tomorrow.
The Chachamim say that it only sounds like half an answer, but that the Hamapil somehow is meant to cover that.
Okay.
I